Hi everyone, my name is Lubabalos Kosana. Welcome to our very first episode of On the Boundary, just two coaches chatting cricket. I'm not alone today, I'm with my co host.
I'm a pure spinner, also known as Spinach. I'll be with Lubavalo through this journey. So come along with us.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting journey. Today we are talking about the SA20. Coach Ara, I don't think this is something that you are ready to talk about, but yeah, let's talk SA20. How has it been for you so far?
Uh, SA20 at the start, because I'm from Pretoria, so I graduated to that light blue team, and I'm a Titans fan. So and it's also the Crucial Stadium. So and we had a good one last year. So I was Protea Capitals, my Pretoria Capitals through and through this year. But hey, those boys haven't delivered. Since the start, I think the balance of the squad, they had too many all rounders, which aren't really all rounders. But let's move on from the Pretoria Capitals and just speak about the tournament itself. The tournament itself has been brilliant. As you see, Lubabalo and his Orange Army. uh, Aiden, Aiden's boys have been brilliant. The top order has fired so much that they haven't really needed runs from Aiden this year yet. But Aiden being Aiden, hopefully they'll come through now when the runs are really needed in the playoffs. I was happy to see Janssen score some runs again because not just only for SA20 and the Orange Army,
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
Proteas need those runs. The Proteas need those runs. So there's a lot of positives with a lot of youngsters
Yeah. Yeah.
throughout most of these teams. The lowest deployed, sadly, but what a youngster, what a talent. Sadly for the Proteas for the, at the
He,
moment.
de- he definitely is a youngster. You know, according to the commentators, anyone they don't know is a youngster. But yeah, even for me,
Yeah,
the tournament, I think it's been exciting, man. The second season, I know a lot of people were said when what is this, the MSL didn't come back, but I think the SA20. I know
he's here to stay.
we had to sacrifice a lot of things, including our test side. But yeah, the SA20 has been good. By the way, I'm only supporting these guys because I'm based here and my province doesn't have we don't have an SA20 side, so I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice side. Yeah, but your Pretoria Capitals, I think they need to go back and go back on the drawing board, and they need to start signing players again. I did not understand why they signed a retired player. I was wondering where he's been playing, but he retired from domestic cricket here in the country, so probably just relying on net sessions. But you and me are coaches, we know you can never just rely on net sessions. Let's talk about who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think is gonna take? Who do you think is gonna take the second season of the SA20?
Uh, I think for me at the moment, it's between two teams, the defending champions and that Durban side.
Yeah,
Because for me, those are the most balanced sides through and through, well led. Keshav Maharaj has been a brilliant captain. Yes, some calls you always on a cricket field you won't get all the calls right, but you see his ideas, which is
yeah,
what we like to see from a captain. It's not always about getting it right; it's about knowing why he had made that choice.
yeah.
So that team is well led, well rounded. Noor Ahmed is special for tournaments
He's a
like
mystery.
this. Yes, having talent like that is big for any franchise. So things like that, and then that's the Orange Army has got the runs going. before Daniel Worrell and them started taking wickets now towards the end of the tournament, they were consistently getting the runs, which is very important in T20, obviously. Yes, having a good bowling lineup is also very important, but bowling lineups can't defend 120 every week. So you need runs on the board, and the Orange Army for me had that. But the better bowling lineup is that Durban with Keshav and Topley and Noor Ahmed. I feel those two teams are my favorites at the moment.
Yeah, no,
What's your...
I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be a tight one this season, but I'm also with you. I think DSG, from where they were in the first season to where they are this season, and you know what I like about them is they're very unconventional. I've been seeing on Twitter, all of us are complaining about the decision making, how they pick their team, but it's been working. Last season it didn't work. We felt they had too many all-rounders in their team and not enough batters, and it didn't work out. But this season as well, they've got Hendrik Klaassen scoring runs, but they're still bringing him late, bringing him in late, and it's still working at the same time. So I guess sometimes it does help to be a bit unconventional and unpredictable. Yeah, for me, DSG, Sunrisers, I think those are going to be our finalists, and hopefully the Eastern Cape boys can bring it back home again.
Yeah, as a KZN boy, I'm stuck between all these teams. A team with Aiden Markram will always be a favorite, but I'm also a KZN boy, so originally from KZN, so I like both. I won't mind Klaassen scoring runs also. On that thing of Klaassen batting low down the order, I think sometimes you need to balance what someone can do and what others can't do.
Yeah.
So as when you're putting that team out at number 4 or at number 3, Klaassen can do amazing things still. But what he does at 6 and 5, coming in and scoring those 30 of 9 that he just does, not a lot of people can do that. So I think that's the balancing act that you have to do. Do you go with Klaassen scoring 100, which he might do coming in at 3, or is that 40 of 11 as important as 100 of 60 or 100 of 50, which he'd score coming in at 3? So balancing act.
See, this is why we're here. This is why we have On the Boundary, for such opinions, different perspectives. Because a lot of people have been saying, why are you bringing in Hendrik Klaassen late? I'm one of them. But as a coach, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand what you mean. What Hendrik Klaassen can do at 6, even at 7, is something that your Vian Mulder can't necessarily do, even JJ can't do. So you want to put them in positions where they can succeed, instead of putting them in a position where they cannot succeed. I think this is something that actually, even with the Proteas that they did with AB, if you remember in the ODI side, AB was the one guy who used to bat high, bat lower, bat high. It was because he was the only guy at that time who could play bat 4, bat 3, bat 5, and I understand, I agree with that. Another thing that I have been thinking about is what the SA20 means for South African cricket. Obviously, it means our cricket stays alive. It means there's funding to keep our cricket alive, because we know we're not going to get into the politics of what happened, who drank what, who did what, who spent what money. But as much as we complain about our test team being weakened and stuff like that, the SA20 has brought something to our cricket, which is money, money that is needed to keep our cricket alive. And for me, this season, I was happy with the rookie rule that they came with, having a rookie in your side. I would have liked to see more of those rookies get a game. I know the other sides, like Paarl Royals, they couldn't have Ukwena due to the World Cup. Pretoria Capitals couldn't have Steve Stork due to the World Cup as well. Unfortunately for you guys.
What a
the
name.
Other guys, they still had their rookies, and they I think MI Capitals had Connor Oosthuizen, but they didn't played a few matches. Ronan Herman for Josie, the Josie Super Kings as well, got a game. I saw even yesterday, I think Paarl Royals, Ngaba Peter, the leg spinner, also got a game. And this is something that I'm hoping to see more of, because I think the young guys like Abu Jaiswal, Rishabh Pant in India, they came through the system of the IPL, and you see what they do now, and you see where they are now. So I think this is one of the things that I would like to see. Don't just have a rookie in your side and have them warming the bench, bringing drinks. Have them play one or few games. Yeah, bo. So I don't know what you think about that, Coach.
I totally agree on that, and it was really unfortunate that the Under 19 World Cup is taking place at the exact same time, so we couldn't have people like Gwena. Gwena, who was actually not even bought in as a rookie, I think he was
Yeah.
in the main auction.
Yeah.
So it's things like Steve Stoke. I think Luandre also had a contract.
Yeah.
The left hander. So for me, I feel like it's not just having them in the squad, not just having them play games, but giving them roles within the team. So you don't want your youngster coming in at 6 when he's an opening batsman. Sometimes openers shouldn't, you're not all going to open. But I mean, his role must be defined and he must know what he does. And this must be a step in his education. So you don't want him just there for the numbers, as coming in, not facing a ball, fielding at fine leg, not learning as much. Yes, he will still learn because you learn even during net sessions when you're with the superstars. So I want them to be involved in these teams and grow more. Because people like the commentators, as you keep joking around saying they're calling everyone youngsters, people like Maggie Breske, who's had a decent one this year, showed the performance. I feel like if this was 2, 3 seasons back, because you know Matthew and Matthew's been Matthew for a long time, but having to showcase that talent and become Matthew that everyone knows now it took a few more years because we didn't have this SA20. So we'd like to have this SA20 showcasing a lot more of our kids, not only for them to go and have IPL contracts and whatnot, but for them to improve as players, for them not to be scared of the limelight and whatnot, and be ready to jump into a Proteas lineup. So when things like this happen, God forbid, we never have to have a C team going to New Zealand again. But so when things like this do happen, we have more international players ready to take in and jump onto that national team.
Yeah, that's very true, Coachy. That's true. I think the other thing that's very important is the fact that now our players are getting to play more and more T20 cricket, because before the MSL, before the SA20, our players were not playing enough T20 cricket, especially the players that are only based in the country that don't play in other leagues. So now it means at least we're going to catch up, because it's one of those things that I've been worried about, is the fact that we are a few years behind compared to other countries. So seeing our players get to play with international stars, being coached by Lasith Malinga, for example, people with vast experience, people who've played cricket for a long time. People who've been successful in cricket for a very long time. I think it is great for our T20 cricket. It's great for our cricket when it comes to going forward, because we are known as a country that's very conservative. And I think the more we play, the more we have the SA20, it is definitely going to boost our cricket. T20 World Cup is coming. I know we said we're going to talk about the SA20, but I think these two things are linked. T20 World Cup is coming. People have been calling for Faf, but we've seen he hasn't been in great form, even though he showed in the last 1 or 2 games. Who's your top 6 for the T20 World Cup? I just want your top 6. I know the bowling's going to be hard to pick. In fact, let's make it top 7, because I want to know who's going to be your all-rounder. Who's going to be your top 7 for the... Hey?
Look at you catching me off guard. Talking about that number 7, because that's where I wanted to actually go straight into. It's tossed up now. Vian Mulder is trying to score runs, which might, but I think he's still second to. That's the thing. But what we can do, and what he allows us to do is throw him in at. It's gonna be tough to get into that top four, but he can go up there at 5 or 4, and then have Stubbs and Klassen and whoever coming lower down because they can do that job. But that's a story for another day because I think Janssen is still a little ahead of him.
Yeah.
In that picking order for that number 7. It's really tough, honestly. It's yes, Queenie wants to play. So I think if Queenie wants to play, it's going to be tough not to make him play. So that's one name. Then then there's Aiden. I can throw names at you, but then we need to put them into that top 6 because we've got our number 7.
I want you to be the one doing that. I want you to be the one doing that. That's why I didn't tell you before time. I want you to be the one doing that. I know you mentioned Queenie. He hasn't been in the greatest of form. So if
that's my thing. He's in the conversation. He's in the conversation, but
he will always be.
It's at a point where it's very hard to say you drop Queenie.
Yeah,
but
I agree. Yeah.
You need to eliminate not eliminate, pick those that have to be there and then see if he still fits in. That's what I'm thinking right now. Because Klassen, Müller, Aiden, that's usually your 4, 5, and 6. Whatever way you do it, that's your 4, 5, and 6. Riza has also not been as hot, but people still feel he deserves to be there. I feel sometimes this sport is so cruel that when you are red hot, there's no space, and then you go a little cold, and then Rickleton comes along, and then what happens now? Does he jump over you? So it's things like that. And for me, another one who there's less talk about is that Matthew Britske that I spoke about. I do like him. I like him a lot. And so I'm stuck between, I've got my 4, 5, 6 being Klassen, Aiden, and Müller. Then Rickleton, Britske. Do I go with Riza or do I go with or because now that I've just thought about that, the 3 that I had mentioned can go one up, and then we have Stubbs at 6 because he also is in red hot. That's another name. So my top 6 right now, under pressure, put under pressure by you, is opening with Ryan Rickleton.
Right.
And this is going to be tough. Ryan Rickleton and
breathe, coach. Breathe.
Quinton de Kock. Aiden Markram at 3. Yeah, Aiden Markram at 3. Klassen at 4. Müller at 5, or other way around. Müller at 4. Klassen at 5. Stubbs at 6. Janssen at 7. Lungi at 10. Shamsi at 11. You'll fit the other 2. I've given you a bit of a bowling lineup too.
Lungi has to make the team. I saw he can bat as well. He can even go up to.
Yeah, he hit 6s now.
We can even have him coming in at 3. But yeah, the other thing, what excites me about Matthew Britske is the fact that he can bet almost anyway. I've followed his career for quite some time from SA under 19, and if you need a number 4, he's there. You need a number 3, Matthew's there. You need a number 5, he's there. 6, 7, not so sure. But I think the biggest issue we're gonna have at the World Cup is that guy who bowls and finishes games for us. Andile hasn't been in okay form. Started well, first game, man of the match, but then only his bowling has been good so far. Throughout the tournament, he's been bowling well. But my issue has been his batting. When he's been needed to score runs, he seems to have struggled. The same with Marco Jansen. But I think with Marco, he hasn't been given the responsibility enough. I feel like sometimes coaches don't throw him in the deep end, especially in domestic cricket. You find that even he batted 7 for the Proteas even before he started batting 7 for his own franchise in first-class cricket. So that should tell you a lot. So for me, I would like to see him bat 7 in every game that he plays, so that he can grow into that position. Because I think for now, potentially, he's probably the best option that we have at 7. Even though I would prefer Andile coming in at 7 because of the type of bowling that he has. When you have Lungi, you have KG, you have, I'll even throw in a Nandre Berger in the side. You've got Nandre, you've got Andrich Norke. I think those bowlers are a bit similar. Okay, let's take out Lungi. He's got his slower balls and stuff. But KG, Anna, Nandre, Marco, the only difference is that the others are left arm seamers, but mostly are pace. Okay, Marco also brings in that bounce. But what I've learned is, what I've seen is, white ball cricket, you need that guy that's quite slow, that guy that can take pace off even more than your Lungi Ngidi. That guy who can come in, keeper stands up, bowls wicket to wicket, bowls those slower balls, those cutters. And for me, that is Ulungi. I think he brings something different to the bowling attack. But then, can you have him at 7? I don't think so. Not now.
Not at the
We've
moment.
always wanted him to be a 7. We've always hoped he would be a 7. I think for me, he's an 8. On a good day, he can score runs quickly for you. But I don't think at 7 he's the guy. But I saw Marco batting at, I think they promoted him in the last few games that they played
4, I think.
for Sunrise, and he did score runs. So that's one thing I'd like to see from him. Otherwise, I've enjoyed the SA20. I've also enjoyed our first ever episode, and I hope everyone else who's going to watch it is going to enjoy it. Probably we'll have our second one very soon. Thank you everyone for watching. And Coach Ara, it's been good.
It will always be good chatting cricket, but especially with you. It's been brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Yes.